Hello and welcome to another episode of One Fall WrestleCast Live. It's been like 10 days since we last joined you. I was out of town. Some things were thinging, and here we are on a random Wednesday. Tom and I have so much to catch up on over the last 2 weeks, including WrestleMania 43 and 42, WrestlePalooza, the internet's reaction to John Cena, ESPN, WrestlePalooza, superstars, drama, tons of stuff. Can't wait. Catch you on the other side.
It was working for a sec.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
What's up, dude?
Nothing. Have you ever had early times bottled in bond?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Where did you get that at?
I got it at the PA Wine and Spirits next to Marshall's in Green Tree.
You're fucking with me right now.
I'm not. It's there. They had like 10 bottles of it last time I was there.
Blue cap, black cap.
Blue cap.
Hmm.
Actually, I don't know. I'd have to look. Remind me. I'll look before we're done.
Okay.
I know it's got a blue label.
Well, yeah.
But really good. 1 liter, $25. Good Lord. Yeah. Be good.
This is a blue cap.
Uh-huh.
The black caps are
Black caps are the way. I will look, but
the blue caps are good though.
Yeah, I don't. Whatever this dude was like, I saw on one of the like.
You can see this. I've had this for a couple of years. I actually just polished her off the other night. Yes.
See, I only ever do 1 bottle at a time open, really. So.
Well, that's just not kind of how I operate. So
it's fine. I get it. I'm just cruise through it. But yeah, it's been a crazy 10 days, whatever. I went to 6 concerts I went to 4 concerts in 6 days, which was a lot of fun. I saw Lorna Shore, which was unbelievable. The second time I've seen them, but this was the first time I've seen them with like a headlining spot, and it did not disappoint. Saw for the 3rd time in 3 years, Falling in Reverse. It's basically been the same show all 3 years, but they were with Slaughter to Prevail, and I'm like, I got to see if that's what Alex Terrible sounds like live, and if you can actually hear him when he pulls the microphone down and just yells, and you can. Fucker is huge and loud, and he did not disappoint. Songs, they're Slaughter Prevail. Can't say the songs are any good, but his ability to growl like a bear is something to go see live. So that was cool. And then we were at 4 Chord all weekend, so watching our pop punk emo favorites, including Blink 182, and we didn't stick around for AFI, but AFI was there too, and all kind of good bands. Lots of great
stick
stuff.
around for AFI.
No, apparently it wasn't very good either. They didn't go on till like 10:10 on day 2 on Sunday, and after that we had seen 10 plus hours, and I'm like, I don't need to hang out for another hour to listen to them sing Miss Murder and go. And I've seen clips of it, and they kind of half-assed it, so I'm good. I was good. I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I got that extra 30 minutes of sleep because I did have to work on Monday. So yeah, but that was all good. And I know you were out of town because I got back from the concert, and I was like, right, you're not here. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna watch Raw and hang out. And then I watched a bunch of wrestling and did a bunch of work, and here we are.
I was in beautiful Savannah, Georgia. Man, what a great little town that was.
Is it finally cooler down there at this time of the year?
It wasn't bad. It was 80
That's
when
better,
we were down there, but it wasn't humid at all. I mean, we spent a day on the beach. The ocean was a lovely temperature. It was cold at first, but you get in there for 15 minutes and you're good to go. And it was refreshing and crisp. And the pool at our house was luxurious and
Nice.
relaxing. Yeah, it was great. Good little trip. We did a riverboat room cruise
Well, that's fun.
or a riverboat cruise dinner thing. And I got up and sang Teddy Swims in front of the entire boat.
Nice.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Good for you.
Had a couple delicious old fashions.
Also fun. It's always fun to raid some like local joint, see what some local joint has like as far as bourbon is concerned, because half the time they've got something that I've never seen before in my entire life.
Yeah, they were making them with a local bourbon, and it was really, really good. I found Eagle Rare on the shelf at retail.
Stunning.
Which was phenomenal. I bought a bottle to put in my suitcase and bring home.
Nice, good for you.
The riverboat cruise, we decided to crack it open and share some drinks amongst friends, and so that bottle did not make the trip back to West Virginia.
Apparently, if you're not within the little area of the country that we're in places like down south, like in Georgia and South Carolina and near, once you get closer to like Kentucky and near like bourbon country, it becomes a much easier bottle to get a hold of.
I'm going to tell you what, as somebody that makes two trips to Kentucky every single year to buy some bourbon, I've never seen the amount of Eagle Rare in Kentucky that I saw in Georgia.
So Georgia might be the place to go.
Well, I hear
it's only a 16-hour drive, but
yeah, I hear that Michigan just has Eagle Rare like sitting on gas station shelves.
Wild to me.
And Michigan is a control state. So, that would also be at retail.
What's retail now? 45?
Hey, I'm here for it, so yeah. Which was awesome. It was great to see it. The guy at the liquor store probably thought that I was on drugs.
Were you excited?
Oh, bro, I was floored.
Have you seen the 12 year yet? I've not seen the 12 year.
I have not seen the 12 year yet.
I've not.
Really looking forward to it, and I'm sure that eventually I will find it. I will have it. I will taste it at least. But I am a sucker for a good bottle of Eagle Rare, and I was happy to share it with some compadres, as I tend to do.
It's always better shared.
Or should I say, I was content to share with me amigos.
Like an idol might do.
You know who was not content to share with their amigos was Andrade.
Yes.
Who, you and I were, and Derek, I don't know, we might have a run-in from Derek tonight. I'm not banking on it. He's still trying to get his life back together after, the unfortunate loss of his grandmother a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know that we're going to see him tonight, but, we'll get him back eventually. Shit. Sorry, I'm filling out this this journal thing that I have to do every day for work, and I'm really just stalling. I'm almost done. I am done. So awesome.
Lovely.
Yeah, so you and I had talked about this Andrade thing last week. Whenever it became public knowledge that they had just kind of quietly moved him to the alumni section on WWE.com, and had we recorded on that day, we wouldn't have had the information that we have today.
Correct.
Uh,
Yes.
So I think that was both a blessing and a curse that we were able to kind of wait to discuss this, because it has come out that Andrade was a little bit of a shithead upon his return to WWE.
A little bit more than a little bit. It seems that he failed a wellness check, which I don't know how you fail a wellness check in 2025 with what they've already taken off of that list. I don't know if it's performance enhancement drugs or
is weed still on that list?
No, it is not.
Huh.
It was taken off. It was confirmed by several superstars. I want to say, including Matt Riddle, that it has not been on that list for a while. So I think what is on said list are PEDs and harder substances. I don't know if he was taking performance enhancing drugs or something a little more fun. But he did have a violation. And he was suspended for a short period. Allegedly, he showed up during said suspension and got a little shitty with everybody, and then was sent home. He had a match scheduled.
He was more than sent home. He was escorted off the premises.
Yes, yeah, he was escorted out. He then his match in Clash in Paris was then canceled, as he was supposed to start a program. I can't remember if they said, or if what I read said what that program was supposed to be.
I'm pretty sure that him and Phoenix were about to get pushed as a tag team.
Right, that's right. They were a tag team. They were about to have a little thing, and we haven't really seen much of Ray Fenix since then.
Well, I mean, he did answer the open challenge to Sami Zayn last Friday.
Right, sure. But
what was a banger. It was a pretty good match. Really good chance for Ray Fenix to really show what he's about. So
right.
Continue.
That's not a storyline that he's now in. It was just a one-off, like, well, go fight Sammy. Or that was 2 weeks ago. That was not this past Friday, but the Friday before, because this past Friday it was Mello. And Mello did miss.
Mello did indeed miss. I wouldn't have been mad if Mello would have won that match.
I wouldn't have been either, and I was kind of hoping that he would, but it is what it is. It ended as I expected. And then after being escorted out of the building, Andrade was a no call, no show for the following month, 3 weeks, something like that, 4 weeks. And to which there was some back and forth saying, I believe that, and I don't know if this is true, but he didn't feel like working with WWE anymore. He was feeling disrespected. I want to say he called Triple H a gringo. And that was he was then quietly moved to the alumni section. And he will be going back, I'm sure, to what's the CMLL, right?
CMLL was probably where he will wind up, and I'm sure through CMLL's partnership with AEW, we'll probably see him on AEW television or a pay-per-view in some way, shape, or form in the very near future. Probably working with MJF, because they did have a little exchange on the old Twix. So outside all of the drama, I think that we need to take 30 seconds here, and we really need to discuss Andrade as a talent, right?
Sure seems like a guy who wants to get in his own way.
Yeah, this is now 3 times.
Yeah.
And I guess WWE was also disappointed that he hadn't improved upon his English in the last
Yeah.
couple of years.
Yeah, I think that was sort of a big pushing point. Was it Dutch Mantel that had said something about that? But I guess they were happy with where his progress was going, which is why they brought him back. And then there was no progress upon his return. It was like it just stopped. His because they wanted him, to be a single star and because his in-ring was great, right? In-ring,
Yes.
nobody's going to argue that he would routinely have one of the best matches on whatever card.
Muy bueno.
Yeah, routinely have one of the best matches on whatever card.
En fuego.
Yeah, he was on. He's a big dude, so like he looked good in the ring. You could have put him in there with anybody. He could have been a great opponent for literally anybody. You put him in there with Rollins. You could put him in there with Roman. You could put anybody. He could be a face. He could be a heel. Work a similar style either way, and just really kill it. But the guy seemed to just, be always a little too big for his own britches. Get in his own way a little bit. I think there's always a little bit of a difficult climb for non-English speakers in an American promotion, particularly in WWE.
I mean, to be fair, you were, upon his original release from WWE, you were uber critical of his English-speaking abilities then.
Because he was like wanting to be the best, like a top guy, and they put him as that in NXT, but he had to have Zelina Vega do all the speaking. And then, his English was improving. He was married to Charlotte. They were working on it, all that stuff. His marriage with Charlotte fell apart. We don't know. We have no idea what happened there.
Kaiser slid into her DMs.
Yeah, that's right. Kaiser slid into her DMs. Sure, it wasn't all of the El Grande Americanos. And then it seemed that all of his forward progress stopped. And I understand that, going through a divorce it sucks. And it's one of those things that does stop your forward momentum. And I'm sure there was, some struggle there and what have you. But, man, it sure sounds like, they were trying to give him all the benefits of all the doubts. And he just decided to violate a wellness policy. And this was probably more than the first time he had violated it. They were probably like trying, and it was probably finally one of those times where it's like, all right, man, you got to go. Like, we can't be doing this. And because they really only want to suspend people, especially guys on his level, for super egregious violations. You know what I mean? Like, they only really want to do that if it's like the second time where it's like, all right, man, you got to be fucking kidding me here. And, then with the no call, no show, the showing up, having to get escorted out of the building, all that stuff. Like, it's a great way to, and I guess he wanted to be released. Like, that seems to be what he wanted to do. Like, you don't pick up the phone, you don't call anybody back for weeks. They call several times. That's what he wanted. So, I guess
maybe they did call. Maybe he did call back, and he just kept pushing numero dos for Espanol, and nobody picked up.
Wow, that was the problem. Is they don't have the press 2 for Spanish version of Triple H. What's H in Spanish? Tres H's. Go with that. That guy doesn't exist. El Grande American Triple H. He was not there. Did not pick up the phone. So, it's unfortunate because I'm a fan of the guy in ring. I really am. And I guess he's going to go back to CMLL, do the same thing he's been doing in CMLL. Maybe we'll see him once or twice a year, pop up on AEW television when they do little, whatever, Open Doors or Worlds Collides or whatever their cross promotion thing is going to be.
Forbidden Door.
Right, but that's generally with New Japan. So
CMLL was involved in this past Forbidden Door.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So yeah, we'll probably see him in and around Forbidden Door, maybe poking at MJF. That might be fun, but at the same time, like, how do you now, and like this is strike 3. So how do you now trust a guy with the ball who likes to take the ball and go home? Like, I don't think that clearly he wants to be a top guy, and
I don't know. Maybe you should ask the CEO.
You mean
She does have experience in wanting the ball, and then when she gets the ball, taking said ball and going out.
true?
It's just a matter of time until she does it in AEW. But right now they're just letting her just carry around all of these meaningless titles, and
It's like she went to Walmart and bought all the different colors of the plastic belts, and she wears them to the ring and does her little
to no reaction.
And the crowd goes mild. Like, all right, time to go pee. And then they hand her a microphone, and everybody's like, oh boy.
All right, better get a beer too.
Mm-hmm. We got one of them breeze throughs right there? Oh, it's right there. Let's go look.
Yeah.
It's
interesting fact. Those breeze throughs go by weight.
I don't know how they figure it out because, I'm sure all the beers probably are the same cost, but
no, because we were drinking IPAs that day and they were $1 more.
But were they a different? I don't know. I agree. I agree with you. It doesn't seem to.
It's some sort of technological fuckery, is what it is.
It sounds like magic. It sounds like wizardry to me. Speaking of wizardry, I found this for $20 at Marshall's, and it holds 2 beers and it keeps them cold from here to here. It's insane. I don't understand.
Well, that's what it's supposed to do. It's a insulated mug.
Right, but it's unreal. Anyway, so yeah, Andrade, what could have been?
What a fucking waste.
Right? Yes. What a waste. Exactly.
And then the thing is too, and you had mentioned this earlier, about Zelina Vega, but what are they doing with her? Could have thrown her at him again.
Right.
I think that there's a lot of us that would have been into a reboot of that duo.
I mean, it would have got a pop just on its initial throwback and put back together. They would have gotten a pop. I mean, maybe they don't like each other.
Maybe.
I mean, I've never heard of them being friendly. They don't talk about each other clearly. And Zelina Vega's on the internet all the time, playing video games, hanging out with Aleister Black, all kind of stuff like that. So,
Ali Esther
from Dusseldorf, Germany. That's not
Tommy End. Fucking Excalibur. I don't know, man. It just
AEW had a good pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, the internet seems enamored with it. I didn't watch it.
Tony Storm dropped the belt to Chris Statlander in what was the magnum opus, I think, to her second title reign. Her after she's defeated Mariah May. I thought it was. I think everything Tony Storm has done during her last title reign was great, and I thought the way she dropped it to Chris Statlander was amazing because she basically bamboozled herself. Go watch it if you haven't. Really top tier stuff in that regard. You're not going to like this. I really liked the Adam Copeland, Christian Cage stuff that happened with FTR. Beth Phoenix or Beth Copeland did show up, did eat a spike pile driver, kind of a little similar in that regard to the way it went with Judgment Day, but it was Edge and Christian, or Cope and Christian Cage, but
well, he did. I guess earlier on Dynamite, he did say, "I can't keep doing this shit to my family. I'm leaving, and I don't know if I'll be back."
Yeah, I didn't see that, so I've not watched today.
I haven't watched it either. Obviously, I saw the little thing pop up on the internet.
But I think it's important to point out before we talk about WWE and TKO and WrestlePalooza that AEW did have quite the fucking banger over the week, and that was 7 hours long. I didn't watch all 7 hours of it.
I mean, who could?
I don't know. It's that's AEW's got some things to clean up, but if they could trim those down to a nice 4.5 hour show, 5 hour show, I really think they could have. It's the problem is that extra 2 to 3 hours. They could really trim that down. And I know they're just trying to get people on the card, but man, they throw in a lot of weird 6-man tag matches and stuff that just nobody gives a shit about, and stuff that drags on way too long because they've got so much time to fill. But man, when they finally managed to find some grooves with certain guys, and those grooves seem to just be hitting on all cylinders. They're finding a good point, at least with that stuff. So as far as like looking for clips and looking for specific matches are concerned, if you want to look, oh great, AEW had a pay-per-view this weekend, let me look up and see what was there that I'm interested in. If you want to pick and choose, I would say that's probably the best way to be an AEW fan, because you're going to come away going, all right, I'm going to watch that seems interesting, and then you watch it and you're like, that was good. And you watch something else that you like seems interesting, and that was good. Now, was there a match or two in between those matches that were real good that you couldn't have given a shit about? Absolutely. I don't particularly like to watch wrestling like that. I like to watch wrestling as a whole package. But as far as the something for everyone is concerned, there definitely is that. I mean, it's like a 6.5, 7 hour show, so there should have to be. But I really do think that they're finding a groove with some of this stuff. I do think they just need to trim it up and clean it up again. Also, the Dinosaur Express, Jungle Boy and no longer Killswitch, Luchasaurus have reunited, and they Luchasaurus kicked the ass of the Young Bucks. That was also great. So like 3 really big highlights on AEW.
I did see that, and I saw that somebody had made the comment that, AEW flatline WWE with, of all things, a quality storyline with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy reuniting. So I thought that was rather interesting. Yeah, man. I mean, the internet, like I said, seems enamored with the show. The internet is usually enamored with AEW pay-per-views. And I'll circle back to that in a minute. But I saw something this week that really garnered my attention in a way that I didn't think that it would. And I shared it with you. And I don't recall you answering this. So I would love to get your live reaction. And this is an opinion piece that was written on the Book of Faces. And it says, Kyle Fletcher is everything that Cody Rhodes wishes he was. It says, Cody has the entrance, the choir, the pyro, the catchphrases, the choreographed tears, and the corporate hype machine pushing him as the guy. But strip all that away and what's left? A mid-card wrestler hiding behind his dad's name and a sob story that got dragged out for 2 years just so he could finish the story. Let's call it what it is. Cody is a brand. He's not a wrestler. His matches are remembered for the theatrics, not the quality. The Roman feud? Roman carried it. The Seth trilogy? Seth carried that. The biggest thing Cody has done in WWE is cry on cue and convince people it's passion. The guy's entire moveset might as well be a promo and a power slam. Kyle Fletcher, though, he doesn't need his daddy's last name, a corporate script, or a sing-along entrance. He goes out there and flat out wrestles circles around Cody. Statistically, he's already having better matches, and he's not even close to his prime yet. Kyle doesn't need smoke and mirrors because he isn't smoke and mirrors. He's pure talent. He's the real deal. And unlike Cody, he didn't have to leech off his last name to get people to care. Here's the uncomfortable truth for Cody Rhodes fans. Cody's peak is happening right now. He's at his absolute ceiling, and it still relies on overproduction and nostalgia. Kyle Fletcher's just getting started, and he's already outperforming WWE's top guy. In 5 years, Cody will be recycling catchphrases and retelling the Dusty story for the 1,000th time. Kyle will be the one stealing the show every night, no corporate backing required. Cody Rhodes is a marketing product. Kyle Fletcher is a future legend, and deep down, everyone knows it. That's why people get so defensive. because they can feel it coming.
I mean, so I remember you sending me this, and I'm like, I think I have too much to say to actually just text it out. One, this is a lot of glazing of Kyle Fletcher, a guy who works a pretty rough style.
So a lot of cock and balls is what you mean.
Right. Yeah.
In around the mouth region.
Yeah, and around a lot of that's what they're
glazing off the chin a little bit.
That's what the glazing is. That's the glaze.
Okay. Hey, listen, whatever you do inside the privacy of your own home is none of our business. Okay. Myself and the audience don't need to know about your glazing tactics. Okay, and your cock and balls in and around mouthful regions.
Regions. But as far as Kyle is concerned, I like Kyle Fletcher. I don't want to like besmirch his name because I think he does a good job. I think he's a young guy who's coming up. I think he's in a good spot. I think he's doing good things. And I'm
concerned they're going to push him too much too soon.
I'm concerned that absolutely AEW is going to ruin him. I think that the potential for that is there. He's young enough and probably doesn't have enough pull in what he's actually going to do. And I can't say that I've liked everything that he's done. They've saddled him with this Don Callis stuff, and I don't like any of that stuff. I like what his in-ring has been. I like
Where's your socks? Where's your socks? Where's your socks?
Exactly. So let's not sit here and say that everything that Kyle Fletcher does and everything he touches turns to gold, because it certainly doesn't. And I'm also not going to sit here and glaze Cody Rhodes to say, oh, Cody's the greatest thing in wrestling since Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock, because he's not. Cody is a very uniquely qualified white meat babyface in a world where it's really hard to be a white meat babyface. And I think that that's really what WWE saw in him, and that's really what they're pushing and giving him. I think that Cody's run since returning to WWE has been very good. I don't think it's been great. I don't think it's been legendary, but I think he's done a good job. They're right, though, is that Roman carried that, but Roman was the heel. And Roman needed a white meat babyface, a Superman, a Homelander, like type of guy, needed a Superman to be, the dastardly demon that he needed to be. And Cody was that guy. Seth couldn't have filled that role. Nobody really could have filled that white meat babyface role in a world full of where WWE has kind of got a ton of tweeners, a ton of guys that could be, a baby face, but a baby face with an edge kind of thing. They needed a white meat kind of like do no wrong, goody Superman kind of guy. And that's what Cody was. Cody's that character. And like it or not, that's really where he fits in. I think where Kyle Fletcher is going to have a hard time is that Kyle Fletcher is not at least not at this moment, a very white meat baby face looking kind of guy. He's a very much tweener in the same way that WWE has, a Drew McIntyre, a Randy Orton, a Seth Rollins, a Roman Reigns, guys like that. He's they've got no loss for heels either. So, he can be a heel, but like, is he a better heel than any of the Paul Heyman guys could be? Is he a better heel than Brock Lesnar? Is he a bit like, so
Brock Lesnar?
I think that what this whole glazing of Kyle Fletcher is missing is it's missing what Cody is as a character, as a sort of just pure babyface, which in 2025 is a really difficult thing to pull off. Additionally, I'm going to point out that there's something in wrestling that is more important than anything that he said as far as match quality, yada, yada, yada. And that is dollars and cents and tickets sold and merch sold. And Cody's beaten Kyle Fletcher in every one of those regards by a bazillion. Now, 5 years from now, when Cody's pushing, what is Cody now? 40, almost 40, 38 maybe. 8 years from now, when Cody's pushing 50, is that going to be Is that going to be the case? No. And yeah, will a younger guy like Kyle Fletcher then, be able to be the face of a company when he's 35, or so, 35, not yet 40 or whatever? Yeah, maybe. But I think that's just how these ebbs and flow go. I mean, were people, saying about Barry Bonds at the end of his career? Well, Barry Bonds, he might have hit 50 home runs last year, but now he's at his peak. Look at this who's 5 years younger than him, and he hit 32 home runs. In a few years, he's going to be Barry Bonds. Well, he was that guy was never Barry Bonds,
Right.
and nobody ever will be Barry Bonds. And I think that's really kind of what that was missing. Is it's sort of like, is Kyle Fletcher good, and is he on a great upward trajectory? Yes. And do we need wrestlers who are on upward trajectories? Absolutely. However, we need more than one wrestler on an upward trajectory, kind of at all times. And I'm glad Kyle Fletcher's one of them. I like him. I think he's doing good work. But he's one of what should be dozens of guys like him. And will he be a top guy one day in either AEW or WWE? Probably. And that'll be great. And I'm not saying that he shouldn't be. And he's younger than Cody Rhodes. Will he be still a guy at the top after Cody Rhodes has gone and retired? I hope so. I hope so for his sake. Like I said, he works kind of a dangerous style. I hope that his career, he's able to avoid injury and have a long and illustrious career. But only time's going to tell. And I think that this is premature, if anything. And it's also sort of comparing eras. Like Cody is the now. He's the current era. Kyle Fletcher will be the next era. Hopefully. For him. Maybe he won't be. Who knows? Doesn't, these guys put their lives on the line every night. He might have an injury he doesn't ever, he never really comes back from, and that could be that. We've seen it happen a million times, and it's terrible every time it happens. I just think it's too soon to be like, this is the guy that's going to be the best guy ever, and not Cody. Cody's not the best guy ever. Cody's not the best guy ever. He's just doing a thing that's really hard right now, and he seems to be the only guy who's got it figured out. Somebody else will figure it out, and they'll take that spot. It's happened a million times. I don't know. That's my 2 cents on it. What do you think? What do you think about that? I'm just sitting here, sipping my giant beer, looking at my giant head, my not as big green hat. I think Walt left me to go poop. So I'll talk more about Kyle Fletcher. Right now, he is a dastardly heel, cutting dastardly heel promos. And I think that that's really maybe where this goes wrong, in that you can't really... Heels at the moment are kind of a dime a dozen. There's too many of them. There's kind of way too many of them, and there's kind of not enough white meat baby faces. If Kyle Fletcher was doing great white meat baby face work right now, we'd be having a different discussion. But we're not having a different discussion because Kyle Fletcher is a heel in a heel stable doing heel work. I mean, he's doing good work, but he's just doing heel work. And right now, he's basically Braun Breaker in AEW. And I'm not saying that Braun Breaker is not also the future. Maybe there might be a future WrestleMania where it's Braun Breaker versus Kyle Fletcher, and I would watch that match. Or a future All In, whatever, wherever these guys are. Braun Breaker versus Kyle Fletcher. That would be a great match. That'd be fantastic. Do we get there? Does that happen? Those guys are similar age. I'm actually going to look it up. How old is Kyle Fletcher? Kyle Fletcher is 26 years old. He is a young man. How old is Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes is 40 years old. Cody Rhodes is our age. June 30th, 1985. Cody Rhodes is a 1985 baby. However, Cody Rhodes is 40 years old. So Kyle Fletcher is 14 years younger than Cody Rhodes, which means Kyle Fletcher's, like, if Cody's at his peak at 40, Like, when else do you peak at wrestling? Besides like late 30s, early 40s. Like that's your peak. Is late 30s, early 40s, right? He
Yeah.
left, and I just
My computer did that thing where it just was like, see you later.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that I don't want to have a bad thing to say. I don't think it's a Cody versus Kyle Fletcher kind of thing, but it's like we're talking about guys who have, a 14-year age difference.
Yeah. I mean, it's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I mean, it's chocolate peanut butter cookies and fucking potato chips. I mean, both are delicious, but we're not talking about the same flavor or profile.
Nah, I think that's fair. I think it's fair.
So I don't know if this guy was on when he went on his tirade about why Kyle Fletcher is the greatest guy ever. I hope he is. I like the guy. I hope he has a long and illustrious career. It's just, it's just okay at the moment. Like, it's got potential, but we gotta move past that potential. So let's fucking go.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's funny because, like, a lot of these internet personalities, we'll call them, are trying to create parallels between, certain WWE folks and certain AEW folks. And, I just don't know that you can really compare the two. I like the assessment, and I like the ability to kind of fantasy book, so to speak. And I agree wholeheartedly with everything that you said. I think that Kyle Fletcher's ceiling is extremely high. And I think that he has a lot to offer in 5 years. I mean, he's offering a lot right now, but he doesn't have everything figured out.
No.
As somebody that doesn't consume AEW nearly as much as they should, that has a wrestling podcast, what I see, I'm intrigued by. And what I see, I from a fan standpoint, I still see holes, just like you said.
Mhm.
But I do like what he has to offer, and with a little bit more business maturity, I
Yes.
think that he's going to be able to grow into a great top guy in the next 3 to 5 years. And I'm really looking forward to what that has to offer. So I think that all of that's really, really cool.
I said this while you were gone away, but I was like, if Kyle Fletcher versus Braun Breaker is a WrestleMania main event in 5-6 years, I'd watch that. Or even if it's an AEW All In main event, I'd watch that. Like, that sounds like we're talking about, this era versus the next, and I think he's a right guy to be in there, building up, getting that business acumen, cutting his teeth, but he's not Cody Rhodes yet. Yeah, in 5 years, 10 years, whatever, give him the pyro, give him the catchphrases, give him the writers, give him everything that he needs to be a top star. I mean, right now he's a heel in 2025 wrestling where everybody's a heel. And, at this point, we've got, there's 100 heels in both companies that are doing kind of the same thing that Kyle Fletcher's doing. He's just a very young guy.
Yes.
Who has a lot of potential and a really high ceiling. And I think that he's definitely a guy to watch. But Cody would have been a guy to watch. What? Cody's 40. So, 14 years ago? Cody was a guy to watch.
And, I think Cody's realized his potential at 40.
Mm-hmm.
That we kind of maybe didn't recognize 14 years ago.
No, and I think there was a lot. He had a lot, and I think he would admit to this. He had a lot of growing up to do. There's a lot of things that I'm sure he could do 14 years. There's a lot of things I could do 14 years ago that I can't do now.
Like get out of bed in the morning?
We don't talk about that, but yeah. A lot of that. Oh, punch to the ground. But yeah.
And you had alluded to this earlier that AEW had put on a pretty good show this past weekend. It's interesting because WWE made their ESPN debut, and somebody that you and I are, kind of fond of on the AEW roster. Ricochet said, "Hey man, ESPN rated WrestlePalooza as a C. I think we put on a far better show than a C." And Ricochet would go on to say, "Hey, like, why is ESPN even covering this? It's not real sports," which I think is pertinent to the direction that this show is about to take, right?
Ricochet also said, "Hey, if WWE shows are too expensive, buy an AEW ticket."
Yeah, and I think that Ricochet is very much not out of line here.
No, and he's been a very good pot stirrer. Ricochet is one of those guys right now. We were just talking about Kyle Fletcher, who is like sort of like a very young guy who's the next sort of like not next, but like he's a guy to watch. He's a new guy to watch. Whereas Ricochet is sort of coming into his prime, right? He figured out how to sell in AEW because everything always looked easy for him. He can fly. He basically can fly. Like he literally has the ability to hover in midair and do little flips and just like boom. But he figured out how to sell. Now he's figuring out how to be a character, untethered in AEW. And I think his character work in AEW has grown leaps and bounds. And he's also sort of figuring out how the social media presence works while being, clearly on a main wrestling product. Like Ricochet's on TV every week. Let's not like pull punches and be like, Ricochet's this like indie darling. He's on AEW television every week. He has a long match on every pay-per-view. He is one of AEW's guys that they are looking, they put a lot of weight on him. They put a lot of faith in him. He was a great white meat babyface. When there were very few of those, and then he went to AEW and was like, you know what? I'm going to be the meanest, nastiest heel. I'm going to get all the boos while still doing crazy flips, and he's really done that. And as far as his career growth has concerned, I hope that his ego doesn't get in his own way because I think there's a potential for that. But I think that his talent is like the sky's the limit for him. And I think that he's really in AEW come to be like a major player and a kind of a guy that you can insert in anything. And that's what he was in WWE. So maybe that's not the best way to put it, but kind of a guy who you can maybe put in almost that Kevin Owens kind of spot where it's just like, oh, he can be that relatable babyface, or he can be the fucking worst guy. And like, he's going to stab you with scissors kind of guy, which he did. And I just think that like watching his growth in AEW has been refreshing and good. It's good for his career because eventually I really do think that he will be back. I think that he was sort of hamstrung by the end of the Vince McMahon era. I think that things would have gone better in the Triple H era for Ricochet, but I think that he went out of the Vince McMahon era in a very sort of in a good way, to where if he comes back after like being smashed into a car, like he left in very dramatic fashion. He was written off in very dramatic fashion, where if he comes back and like just fucking kills it and like looks to revenge for, it was Braun Breaker, wasn't it?
Yes.
Smashed him? Yeah.
No.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Braun. Or was it Bronson Reed?
Don't remember.
Hold on. Ricochet last WWE appearance. AI, help me. June 10th, 2024, Monday Night Raw. Braun Breaker. I was right. Fuck yeah. Anyway, if he comes back and randomly, let's say his AEW contract's up and we don't see him for a month and we don't hear anything, and he just comes back and attacks Braun Breaker insane pop, right? Like he could come back to WWE and be on Raw on SmackDown in a big storyline immediately. Like no questions asked. And so, but I think everything he's done in AEW has really just helped him solidify his character, helped him solidify who he is. He's been doing some of the best work of his career. So he's great. And I think that he's spot on as far as his social media work's been concerned too, is that like just kind of saying, hey, one, being a flag toter for the company that he works for, but not really disparaging WWE, just sort of in the sense of like, hey, if you don't like this, we got this alternative over here. I'm here. It's pretty cool, kind of a thing. But also doing some good heel shit. So I don't know, man. Big fan of Ricochet, always have been. And I think that he was kind of on the money. He's really sort of been evolving into more of a grizzled veteran as of late, and I think that he's finally starting to find a groove that really works for him. And I think that big things are coming, whether he stays in AEW or he goes back to WWE or whatever. Maybe he flip flops. Who knows? But I think the guy can be successful anywhere. And I think that he is sort of the opposite of what we were talking about Andrade earlier. He seems to be the kind of guy who, both, is willing to say no, but is also like very much a team player and like wants to do what's best for the company, but also what's best for him all at the same time. And how do we make that happen? And I think he's done a really good job, and I think he's figuring that out. And I think that, we were talking about Kyle Fletcher being the next big thing. I think that like he really is like Ricochet's really going to be 2 years from now. Ricochet is going to be the guy that we're just like looking at like, shit, man, this guy like just came up, scratched and clawed, and now he's the best in the world. And we have that's absolutely possible.
Yeah. So lots to look forward to with the, a lot of the up and coming crop, and to just continue to watch the ebbs and flows on the AEW side of the coin with some of this young talent or underappreciated talent that may have not gotten their fair shake in the entertainment side of wrestling. It's been a lot of fun. But I think that we need to kind of get into what Ricochet was kind of talking about, and that was the card that was WrestlePalooza. On the ESPN debut of WWE. Now, WWE did a really good job on Friday Night SmackDown of making sure that their viewers could find their product.
They spent half of SmackDown explaining how the ESPN app works.
Yes. I thought they did a
which
nice
made
job.
SmackDown bullshit. Can I just say it's made SmackDown bullshit? Like that was it was a shit SmackDown because they were like, this is how to go here and then go here and buy this and do this, do that. Like, okay, I was pissed about that. I did shut SmackDown off. I very rarely shut wrestling off. I shut SmackDown off.
So, before we get into this, I wanna touch this. So the name of today's show is the TKO Takeover. And over the last several months, we've seen dramatic changes in how WWE does business. Some things good, some things bad, some things indifferent, but there has been a lot of change, whether it be, how things are televised or where they're televised or what's televised, as opposed to, creative has kind of stagnated a little bit, and it feels like we put business before the product, and there's a lot of things that we can split hairs on, and I want to jump into WrestlePalooza, but I feel like the TKO Takeover and WrestlePalooza as a kind of as an idol for what the problems are. I think WrestlePalooza is that representation of everything that has become wrong with WWE.
So you're in the you do a sales thing, sort of in a sense, and you know when I was coming up in restaurants and then initially in like sort of like a kind of like customer facing role, it was always sort of an under promise over deliver kind of mindset, right?
Yes.
It's like we'll say we'll see what we can do and blah 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 blah, and then you show up and you give them the world. I feel like WWE is operating currently on the exact opposite, especially as far as WrestlePalooza is concerned, is that we were promised the world. We were promised a major show, one of the biggest shows of the year. There's going to be surprises. There's going to be this, that, and the other. There was fucking none of that. It was a Saturday night's main event. It was very predictable. It was a in your house. It was, I mean, it was a good card. Don't get me wrong. The card was good. It didn't fucking matter, but it was a good card. We got on paper, it looked really good, right? And if you're ESPN and you're looking at it on paper, like it's the NFL or like it's the Major League Baseball, it looks great. So you got Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. Holy shit, those guys are household names. We got both of those guys. AJ Lee returns for the first time in 10 years. She's going to tag with her husband, CM Punk, against
April. I'm gonna need you.
How wild is it?
Dust off your Chuck Taylors.
How wild is it that you've been April for good God.
I mean, since he kicked down the young Bucks rickety door.
Right. It's been years. And
rickety door.
And now she's back. So you get her back, and it's versus the best woman to ever wrestle. And it's not just me saying it.
Yeah, it's not just you saying. Other people say it too.
Other people say it. ESPN says it. Rolling Stone says it.
Sports Illustrated says it.
Sports Illustrated, exactly. And her husband, her hot husband, Seth freaking Rollins. But now that they're on Netflix, why is it not Seth fucking Rollins? Which was his tweet when they first announced it. He was like, Seth fucking Rollins? Hilarious. I'm convinced that Seth Rollins in real life is the funniest person alive. But anyway, Colby Lopez, for those of you who don't know his real guy name. But anyway, it's so on paper, and then you get a for sure title change because it's Stephanie Vaquer, who is red hot.
She's definitely hot.
Yeah, red hot versus Io Sky.
That booty is all the things. Like that is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean,
I don't want to get in trouble.
I don't want
to get in trouble.
Goodness.
But also, Io Sky, who everybody's favorite, crowd favorite, fan favorite, my favorite, a favorite, which was amazing, by the way. And what else did we get?
Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes.
And Cody, which was fucking. We'll get to that. Which was on paper good. In reality, rushed to hell. It was a SmackDown and then the SmackDown before the show, which happened on Saturday, and then a match that went 9 minutes. And Cody retained. Okay, I'm sorry. I hate to start with the main event.
No, you're good. Have at it, bud.
Like, I feel like had the show not ended on a sour kind of bullshit note, like it would have been more favorably viewed. But to me, the main event did not get as much hate as it deserved because these two guys, we know Cody Rhodes is capable of a great 20-minute match. We know Drew McIntyre is capable of a great 20-minute match. They got like 9 minutes. And Cody retained. Could have been SmackDown's main event. In that sense, was Cody retained clean. It makes Drew look non-credible, like a not credible threat. Which unfortunately Drew has been a not credible threat since since he stopped being the champion. Since it's unfortunate. Cody retained in boring fashion, which doesn't do anything for Cody. That really soured the whole thing to me. It was a fine match. It was fine. It was fine. Right.
I agree. It was definitely fine.
Objectively, there was nothing wrong with it. But what the fuck are we doing here, guys? This was a glorified house show.
And you know what the wild thing is, Tom? Is often as you've been saying that, when it comes to certain things, I actually read that on the internet this week. And I had never laughed harder,
Good.
just because like you have been all about glorified house shows and et cetera, since God,
18.
Yeah. I mean, since Blood Money became mainstream.
Yeah. Glorified house show type of shit. And this was, look, had this been any other nonsense bullshit fucking September show on Peacock, the 50th show on Peacock, whatever, right? Whatever. Who fucking cares? Okay, great. Whatever. It was in your house, fucking WrestlePalooza. That's not how it was sold to us.
No, not at all.
This was sold to us as, hey, you want to pay $30 for ESPN Super Plus because you will get WrestlePalooza. And WrestlePalooza is, Braun Breaker said this. It's one of our biggest shows of the year. One of our biggest shows of the year. You're going to get surprises. This is what Triple H said. You're going to get surprises. You're not going to know what to expect.
I think the only real surprise we got was that the Brawns beat the Usos. And if you're paying attention, that wasn't even that big of a surprise.
It wasn't. It was
actually, I expected that.
I especially expected it. Honestly, had Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker not beat the Usos, I think there would have been like I think it would have been even worse. I think people would have been unhinged angry because they didn't beat them in sort of a like super clean fashion. Like there was some shenanigans. I don't remember what those were, but there was like Jimmy and Jay had like disagreements and they're like not on the same page and like, oh, why can't they get on the same page? Oh my God. And it's like, that's not.
I mean, LA Knight was the goddamn referee.
Right. And LA Knight was the referee. So it was like they had an easy out. And they took that out. Oh my God. They took that out on Monday because Jay was like, this motherfucker, we'd have won had it not been for LA Knight. I'm going to beat his ass. And Jimmy was like, bro, I was trying to like get us a rematch and you're trying to beat LA Knight's ass. Like, what the fuck, man? And like that was the shtick on Monday, but it was like they were already apologizing for the loss because it made sense in storyline. And that makes sense, and that's all good. And like I don't have a problem with that match. That match was great, and that match did and ended exactly the way it should have. That went the way it was supposed to go, and that was fine. But there was a point in time a few months ago when Raw debuted on Netflix in January, where you were like, kudos to WWE for holding back, right?
Yes.
all they have done since January is hold back. Nothing special has happened. Nobody's been shocked. Nobody's been surprised. Nobody's been
Well, I was kind of surprised when Brock Lesnar came back.
at SummerSlam at the end.
Yeah, I mean that was.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. Like a surprise, like comeback is fine, but there's been no surprise wins. There's been no upsets. There's been no like even when Seth Rollins won the World Heavyweight Championship back after CM Punk won it, like when his music hit, you were like, I knew it.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
It was a little too. It's all been a little too easy to predict, right? And you can predict the wild thing because, like, there are wild things that always make a little bit of sense, but like they've not done any of them. They've not done the shocking thing once. They've not done the thing that goes, oh my God, why would you fucking do that? Like, oh my, I never saw that coming. Or even if you did see that coming, you'd be like, this was like a 1% chance they would do that in my head. I can't believe they did that kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they don't come in and like just have, oh God, what was a shocking thing? Like Kofi Mania. Like, we haven't had a Kofi Mania.
No.
We haven't had any, like, even like when Big E won the title. We haven't had that moment. We've not had a big moment. It didn't feel super, super story told, whereas like, okay, and here we go. We're writing the story and we're coming to the climax, and the climax of the story is, and it's like, oh, I never knew. It's a one-on-one match. Somebody's going to win. 50-50 shot. Probably going to be the guy we expect. Probably going to be the hero of the story.
Yeah.
Or if we're in the villain arc, probably the villain of the story. Like, it's become so, you said it earlier, stale. And there is this, like, unwillingness to just unhinge for a night and fuck everything up.
Yeah, like Drew should have won. I feel
Right.
like Drew should have won the title, and then let the chips fall where they may. But I also told you off air that I felt like Drew legitimately got hurt. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Maybe he did. Maybe. And maybe there was a pivot, and that would suck, right? If there was like a truly unhinged moment, and like Drew twisted his ankle kicking that table, because like that was planned, right? For Drew to miss the Claymore and hit the table.
yes,
Because there was already like pyro in the table, so that it went when he hit it. But did Drew hurt his ankle when he did that? And did they call an audible? And Cody's still the champ. We don't know. But man, if that's true, fuck. I don't know. Like, that's, I feel like you almost just stick with it and go with it, because they did that. That's happened before, right?
Yes.
That happened with Seth and Finn Balor for the first ever, Universal Champion.
I mean, it happened with Drew and Aleister Black in NXT, except they pivoted in the ring.
Yeah. And I don't know. I hope that they figure out that they really need to like shock people, because otherwise WrestlePalooza was fine, right?
Yeah,
Fine.
I mean, it wasn't a bad show by any means.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a bad show.
But it was overpromised and underdelivered.
I mean,
it felt very Tony Khan signing Christian Cage.
Yeah. The Women's World Championship I thought was great. Stephanie
Saved
Vaquero
the entire show
versus Io Sky was top tier. They tore the house down. Everybody involved in that show should thank them for saving that show. Usos versus the Bronze. Good great match too. Those guys took it, carried it, did a great job too. The mixed tag match was everything everybody expected it to be. The result was exactly what everybody expected. It was what it should have been. Seth and Becky.
How'd you think AJ looked?
For being out of the ring for 10 years, a lot better than she should have. I think that Becky and Seth and CM Punk really elevated her and carried her into being a big deal. But I mean, to be fair, she had to pull off what she pulled off. She had to pull off the finish, and I'm sure they practiced it. I hope they did. But and she thanked everybody involved, breaking kayfabe.
Yes, Colby and Phil and Rebecca.
Yes,
and Paul and
April. Please thank all of our colleagues.
Hey, have you seen not to dive off topic here, but have you seen the reports that Phil and Colby are like best friends behind the scenes?
Yes. Because apparently they did actually dislike each other, but they're both like very business-minded adults who are like, all right, look, I know we've had our differences, but like that was 10 years ago, and I feel like we're older now, and like we can be not dicks to each other.
Yeah.
And like we both have more than $1 million in the bank, right? And that's probably where it was. And it was like, so friends?
You want to go have lunch?
Lunch?
I know there's a great bakery in Chicago.
Yeah. It's a good one. Want to get some shawarma?
So let's talk about the match and the fallout that just has the internet just up in arms, and that's John Cena versus Brock Lesnar.
So can I say that I really loved that? I loved the match, actually. I really liked it because like
you are in a very, very small minority.
So going in, I'm like, how do you not have Brock fucking destroy John Cena? Like, because let's think of the alternative to what happened, right? How do you not just have Brock show up? Like, had he ripped John Cena's head off, looking the way he looks, Brock looks like he ate a gorilla.
But he is a fucking gorilla.
Okay, well, Brock looks fucking insane right now. Like, I don't know if you've seen the like. Oh, this is.
I have seen this. I saw there's this side by side comparison of him in his late 20s, in his first ever run with WWE, versus what walked out at WrestlePalooza.
Brock looks insane. He looks like he bench presses cows while he eats them.
Because he does.
He might fucking raw. And good Lord, that man. The fact that he didn't rip John Cena's head off and punt it into the third row is probably more shocking than how this match went. Like Brock looked like he should have killed him, and he did. It was a squash. It went 8 minutes?
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
And most of that time was John Cena taking F5s. And apparently Brock is one of the gentlest and nicest workers ever. So like taking F5, like you and I could take F5s from Brock Lesnar in the middle of a ring and probably be pretty okay the next day, despite not taking bumps ever in our lives. So this I think was really a night off for John Cena. And I think it's going to build to something, maybe it's Survivor Series. I think we'll see Brock versus Cena, and I think they'll maybe be the last men standing, and maybe Cena will get his one up on Brock after like everybody like beats him to death with chairs or something.
Well, they are saying that they are teasing Shawn Michaels versus Triple H as team captains for War Games.
Right, so that could be fun. Because we did have William Regal on NXT. By the way, not to like derail everything.
I saw it.
NXT versus TNA. I watched it. Oh again. Oh boy. And Ricky Starks too, or Ricky Saints too, coming out just being like, this shit's going on here, but like this NXT title looks like my jam. I'm in like NXT. So like after like this whole sort of very predictable, very benign pay-per-view of WrestlePalooza, we then get just a random NXT show that is so much more shocking and like pulls the rug out of everything you think that's going to happen. Yeah, Iconics were there.
Yes, they certainly were.
Fucking Matt Cardona was there.
Yes, he certainly was.
Like that's the kind of shit they need to be doing on the main roster. Is like that's the like boom. That's what you need for WrestlePalooza, the first thing on ESPN. You need people's heads to explode. Nobody's head explodes. Everybody's head went, huh. You need a boom. We got, huh. But no, I actually thought it started off great. I liked this. I thought it made sense. I'm a big fan of watching Brock Lesnar fuck people up, especially like people who we've been told are important, and then like Brock Lesnar comes out and fucks them up. If you remember, when SmackDown went to Fox, Brock Lesnar showed up and fucked up Cody Kingston.
Yeah, in like 8 seconds and won the world title.
8 seconds, yeah. So, and I hate that. I mean, I hate it for Kofi because I like Kofi Mania, but I mean, he is the beast incarnate, and you can't like. At least they're consistent with that, right? At least they're like, look, this guy is unfucking. He is the alpha of our species, and to beat him, he can't just show up and be like, I'm going to kill you, and then you beat him. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, to beat him, you have to, like, work for it.
So, I think what's interesting here is that you are 100% against the narrative the internet has that Brock shouldn't have beat John Cena.
No, Brock should have beat John Cena for no title. Absolutely.
Do you think that Triple H has mishandled John Cena's final run?
No. If anything, he has handled that, especially with all knowing the behind the scenes things as far as TKO and The Rock and Travis Scott and all that. He has handled John Cena's final run as best as it could possibly be handled.
I just think it's interesting that all of these people seem to have just magically forgotten that John Cena won his 17th World Championship.
Right. The unseen 17, like it's not like that was special. That's still special. The whole Travis Scott stuff with The Rock, like I wanted to delete that last like 30 seconds. But the rest of that, I don't like the way John Cena just dropped being a heel. Like, I'm over my bullshit and now blah, blah, blah. You're going to get the best version of me and whatever. Like, he did his best. I get it. I realize there's limited dates. There's limited, like, there's constraints that I understand. But I feel like that needed another 2 segments to explain properly, but we didn't get it, and that's fine. I get it. I understand that we didn't get those segments. I understand why we didn't get them. I feel like John Cena did the best he could with it, and you know what? That's kind of been the story of his career. Is shit. Well, you're gonna be Peacemaker. but also I'm loyal to you because I love you, my WWE crowd. So we're gonna make this work, and they made it work, and I feel like it works. It's fine. It's not, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. It's just fine. Okay, like it's understandably fine. It's understandably good, and I can't be overly critical of it, but I'm not overly positive about it either. But as far as how the booking has gone, it's like there's a lot of like ebbs and flows and like needle eyes that need to be threaded. And I feel like they've, for the most part, even when things have gone awry, been able to sort of like at least make chicken salad out of chicken shit. So I'm fine with it. I'd like to see how it ends. I feel like if they stick the landing, all is forgiven. If they totally botch the landing, like worst ever, it's going to be the worst ever. But like they could stick the landing, and they have the opportunity to stick the landing, and I hope they do.
Yeah, and I think that it's important that, John Cena essentially called out Triple H, and we got what we were after. We're gonna get a John Cena versus AJ Styles match at Crown Jewel in Perth.
Very excited about that.
Super excited about that. When they were feuding, when AJ first came into WWE, and the face that runs the place and that whole thing, and
that was cool.
That was a great feud, and I'm here for a one-off match. And then I guess allegedly, John Cena wants to work with Dominic Mysterio also.
I think that Dom is a great replace. Like obviously, like the last sort of retirement run guy you want to see with him is Edge, right? But
Edge is retired,
right? We can't get Edge exactly. Edge is retired. We can't get Edge. But I feel like Dom is a great, like, that would be a great send off, in my opinion. Is that like, and it would be shocking, have Dom beat him clean.
Yeah, like Solo Sikoa did. But the problem is, any match that John Cena doesn't win, the internet's in an uproar about. And I don't think that that's necessarily right either. I think that there's been some high-profile guys that Cena's faced that he needed to face. Cody Rhodes. I don't think that he needed to face him twice. I think he could have dropped the title to somebody else to set up Cody getting the championship back. Yeah. I think we could have done something different there. But, he worked with Randy Orton, as he should have. Mm-hmm. I would have liked to have seen him work Gunther. But unfortunately, injury has limited our ability to see that.
Yeah, and I think that's why we're probably going to get Brock in some sort of like Survivor Series, something or other. I think that's going to be where that shakes out. So we're going to get Brock twice, where we should have gotten Gunther. But like the Brock at Survivor Series, let's say Cena goes over Brock at Survivor Series. I think that'll be good, because then we won't see Brock, but again, for a while, because I'm sure Brock's like ready to fuck off. Like he doesn't want to be a full-timer again. But like to see Brock and Cena like kind of finish off Survivor Series, and maybe Cena wins Survivor Series for the team, and something cool happens for the team after that, minus Cena, whatever they end up setting that up to be. But yeah, I think that, a final showdown, let it be Dom.
Yeah.
Would love that. Would love the shake from Cena to Dom.
So I think that the internet's uproar about everything is really just centered around how the business decisions that TKO has made, right? And we continue to see more of that reflected by TKO executives, namely Mark Shapiro,
yes,
who recently just spoke out about fucking WWE ticket prices. Now, you and I have been talking about WWE ticket prices being on the rise for the better part of 3-4 months. And And things have,
we haven't gone in 2 years because every time we look, it's like fucking nosebleeds are $70. Like, fuck off.
yeah. And I actually got into a very in-depth conversation about WWE ticket prices on my work trip to Savannah, of all places, with a couple of colleagues that are big pro wrestling fans. One of which consumes our show. When we started talking about
Shout out
ticket
to Pat.
prices,
Love you, Pat.
it wasn't Pat.
I
It wasn't Pat.
still love Pat. It's so
Yeah, it's definitely still love Pat. But like Mark Shapiro just recently said that, he's that Vince had WWE tickets priced for families, and that TKO feels like they can get higher ticket yields from WWE more comparable to the UFC, and that they're going to continue to raise WWE ticket prices to better meet their business model. And while I understand the business aspect of things, right, I think that we've talked about this already at length with ticket prices, and just I'd say probably not even a month ago, that you're going to price out families, right? And you're going to price out your future fans, because you're going to have dads that want to include their sons or their daughters, into something that they love and they enjoy, but you're not going to be able to do that, because shouldn't cost $600 for to go to a wrestling show for 3 hours of enjoyment. I mean, because you're going to buy the tickets. All right. And if you buy upper bowl at PPG, they're not bad seats. Okay. 206 in the corner, right? Not bad seats. Well, that's not accurate. 206 is, so it would be 209 in the corner. Not bad seats, right?
No.
You can see the ring clear from there. You and I have sat in 209.
Yeah.
But the problem is after ticket prices and fees, we're looking at $150 for one ticket.
Yeah. For
right?
one.
So you want to take your, say me as a dad, I want to take my wife and my two kids. That's $600 in tickets, right? And then they're going to want the popcorn. They're going to want the hot dog. They're going to want the slushie. I'm going to want to have a beer, right?
Or three.
Right. They're going to want the T-shirt or the foam finger or something.
$1,000.
Yeah.
To go to Raw.
Plus parking.
Monday.
Plus $30 for parking.
On a Monday.
On a Monday. $1,000.
We're going to go fucking work in the morning. I spent $1,000. Gonna buy 2 PS5s for $1,000.
And like, I get it. You're paying for an experience. You're paying for an event, but it's like, for fuck's sake, man. For fuck's sake. And I think that, of course, this is god awful, and you can't read this.
I can read it.
I hopefully you can zoom in on this, if you're here with us. But these are ticket prices for WrestleMania. Now, this doesn't say that this is for the 2-day package or if this is just for 1 day. But like this says, the ticket prices for WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas, not including Ticketmaster fees. Okay, Section A on the floor, $8,998 for one ticket. Now, is that for 1 day? Is that for 2 days? We don't know, right? Section B on the floor, $3,868 for one ticket. Section R101, 2,200, 100 level, $1,495, $1,303, $1,174. 200 level, $1,303, $1,174. 300 level, $1,174. 400 level, $854. And this is PW Insider saying this. And then you go down the owner's suite, all inclusive, 26 tickets, $52,500. Is that for 1 day? Is that for both days? I mean, I know that renting suites is an expensive proposition. You know, we have a Major League Baseball draft league team here in town, okay, that just won the draft league championship for the third year in a row. All right. To rent a suite, because we looked into it for a corporate outing, and we're a corporate partner with them, right? To rent the suite at this shitty little baseball venue was $800 for 14 people. Okay. I understand that suites are expensive, but club suite, 12 seats in an open bar, $26,500. Open bar? Is it open bar? Is it actually open bar? Or am I having to pay? Traditional suite, 26 tickets, $38,000. That's more than $2,000. That's more than, what is that? That's like $10.50 per person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then a corner suite with 18 tickets, $22,000. Is this for both days? Is this for one day? We don't know. I'm willing to bet this is probably for one day. So if you want to have floor seats, you know, you and I, okay, we'll say section B on the floor for both nights, $8,000 a person. That's just for tickets to the event.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
But if we want to sit
to Las Vegas,
no, we want to sit. Let's be realistic, okay, about who we are as fans.
Yeah.
All right. 300 level at Allegiant Stadium. All right. Pretty fucking good. I've been to Allegiant. I've had the pleasure of being in Allegiant Stadium on 3 separate occasions.
but we're still at Allegiant Stadium. We're still 300 yards from the ring.
Yes. For $1,200 for one person
Like
for one day. And that doesn't include the flight to Vegas.
No.
That doesn't include your hotel. That doesn't include your food, your drinks, your lifestyle, your merch. Okay.
You're living, you're just breathing.
Like that.
Isn't also in Las Vegas, $50 a night to stay in a hotel just in fucking luxury tax. $50 a night. Just in whatever. Let's say we get the shittest hotel with the most fleas and the most hookers and the most STDs, and let's say that hotel cost us $98 a night on WrestleMania weekend. Let's say we're at the worst Motel 6 where we're getting bit all night and might get the door kicked in and might get stabbed to death. $98 a night, plus $50 on top of that every night. Yeah. So that's 2 nights. So we're paying $100 in tax on top of that. Like, this shit is fucking insane. This is not not only is this price out families, this price is out normal, like this price is out like dual income, no kids people.
Yes.
This price is out anybody and everybody who would want to do this. This is like, oh, hey, by the like, 32,000. First of all, the $32,000 tickets, like the shit that's just like even like the $10,000, like say section B, whatever, for like 2 nights. I don't have like, and I do pretty well. I have a law degree. Like, I do pretty well. I do okay, right? Like we both do a pretty okay, right? We're pretty okay guys. We do pretty okay things. We have pretty okay money. This is fucking insane.
Oh, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Like, this is not an attainable like thing. Like, you were just talking about like what it costs. Like, it would cost $1,000 for us to bring our families to Raw. Like $1,000. Like, okay, to put things into perspective, we are 5 years into the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X generation, right?
Yes.
I have purchased for myself and for my son, who is also an avid gamer, a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series system. We both have them, okay? Because we both use them. We're both very into this. Both of those purchases cost me less. Like, I bought a gaming system for both of us for an entire generation for less, probably, than it would cost me take my entire family, if we're talking tickets, parking, everything. it cost me less to buy that for 5 years than it would cost me to go to a weekly event on a Monday night.
And we're still talking about raising ticket prices.
And we're still talking about like, oh, these aren't big enough ticket prices.
And as somebody that used to be an avid UFC fan, like I've lost touch with it over the years. You know, I've been to UFC events; they are a fucking blast, right? And they do garner big money, but big money is on the line in every one of those fights. You know, the fighters would say otherwise, but regardless, you know, that money's got to come from somewhere. But to price out a family product, to price families out of enjoying a family product is fucking absurd.
Well, what it does is you shoot yourself in the foot, right? For immediate profit. Hey, TKO is going to make $3 billion this year, and then we're going to go to Saudi Arabia next year. We're going to make another $5 billion. But like, we're going to come back after that, and we're going to try to price things to people who decided they don't fucking care anymore. I'll watch it on YouTube for free. It'll be fine. WWE has been through this before. Do you remember the new generation?
I do.
Like we've hit the point where the people who are alive and who are in charge now were not fans. They didn't care. They weren't wrestlers. They didn't know what it was like when nobody cared and nobody watched. And wrestling almost went away entirely.
It did.
And it took, God, so that would have been what, 93-ish, 94?
Yeah, 93, 94.
It took 20 years to get back to this. You are going to set the business back 20 years for 2-3 years of profit in Saudi money? Because that's what's going to happen. 5 years from now, they're going to be, oh, well, we'll be at the VFW near you and blah, blah. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, my son doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit. When I was 12, fucking, hey, buddy, you want to go see Hulk Hogan? Absolutely. You want to see the Macho Man? Oh, my God. My dad would tape the Macho Man on the Arsenio Hall show. Ooh, yeah. I flew with the eagles and slithered with the snakes. And I would watch that shit with fucking fervor. My son couldn't care. Damien couldn't care less. Hey, bud, John Cena's on. I'm good. He's retiring, right? Yeah. He'll be done in December. I'll watch that. Goes upstairs to play the new the Skate came out. He and his buddies. Skate 4 or whatever the live service version of it. He and his buddies are having a blast. I'm going to go play with my friends. All right. Have fun. But that's like, where's the next? Look, I'm hooked. Okay, I'm hook, line, and sinker. But I've fallen out before. Where's the next generation of fans? My daughter loves Bianca Belair. She's been hurt since WrestleMania. She probably doesn't care anymore. I mean, you know, your kids will watch with you for now. I know your son's a little younger than my kids, but like,
Wednesday for me is generally a day that I'm home somewhat early from work, and generally I'll sit down and I'll watch AEW with him. And he enjoys the AEW product more than he does the WWE product. And I think it's because it's, quick and flashy and, it's in ring as opposed to storyline. So I can see where that whole thing, and that circles back, and to put a bow on all of this, Ricochet said it. Hey man, you can't afford to go to a WWE show. man, we'll just be here in AEW, just doing what we do. Why don't you come watch one of our shows?
Come watch and you and I have said, well, $80 to take the family. I don't know that I like AEW $80, but at the same time, now it's like, well, $1,000 to take the family to WWE. Well, fuck. Like, I mean, $80 sounds a lot better. Even now, if it's like let's say it's $120, because it's the inflation. Let's say it's $120 to take the family. That's not even if it's $200 after tickets and parking and whatever else. Let's say it's $200 or even $250. We're still like a quarter of the price. It's insanity. Like what are we even doing here? You're gonna price yourself out, and that's what's gonna happen. And just wait until WrestleMania. This is Bully Ray said this week or last week. Just wait till WrestleMania is in Saudi Arabia. And if AEW really wants to capitalize, hey, USA fans, we're going to do this thing in Chicago because it's cheap to fly to Chicago for literally everybody, especially in fucking March or April. Hey, during WrestleMania weekend, starting that Monday, 6 days before, or 5 days before, we're gonna just start putting on shows in Chicago. It'll be whatever, Wrestle Fest. Is that a thing? Maybe it is. I don't know. But anyway, Wrestle Explosion, shit your pants, whatever it is. We're gonna have a show on Wednesday there, but Tuesday, Joey Janela's Jack Off Hour is going to happen. Wednesday, our show is going to happen. Thursday, TNA is going to be there. Friday, we're going to bring up CMLL, and they're going to fight with this weird Canadian promotion, or GCW is gonna fight with CMLL, and then we're just going to have shows from Monday up to Friday, and Saturday we will put on our AEW whatever pay-per-view it is. Low cost tickets, low cost, and then I think that's the thing is we're going to do it like basically in the Blackhawk Stadium. It's just going to be a show in a regular hockey arena, like a Monday Night Raw would be. Tickets start at $60 or whatever. And, we're just going to put on this whole week of wrestling in Chicago where it's easy for everybody to go because I've flown to Chicago before from Pittsburgh for $60.
Yeah.
You just put it on, you do it. Is it cold in Chicago in April? Yeah, a little bit, but it's not that bad. It's fine. And you have all these events, but then you're the USA events for wrestling that year. And everybody makes money because of AEW. And now you're the fucking hero. They have the opportunity here to do something big. Because a lot of us, particularly a lot of us in America, are really sour on this Saudi Arabia shit. I've been sour on it since the beginning. I'm not even close to the only one. I'm probably the vast majority. There it is. Now they come back from Saudi Arabia. What a great WrestleMania. And America's like, get fucked. That if you're AEW, that's your takeover spot. You continue to build and try not to fuck up what you're doing right now. But that's your takeover spot. That's where you win. That's where you get your 52 weeks and turn it into, infinite weeks. Because by then, who knows what TKO will have done?
It's fair. It's fair. I don't know, man. It's all it's all extremely
it's upsetting.
It's extremely upsetting.
It's upsetting.
And
we want to go. Like, I want to go. Take my money, but like not all of it, right? Like, take some of it. Here's some money. Let me go see. Let's be fair. Like, Raw's not always like, or even SmackDown, not always like the most captivating shit I've ever seen in my life, right? Like, it's sometimes you just go, and especially WWE events, like you just go. It's fine. It's fun. It's a good time. I've been to a dozen or so in my lifetime, but like, I'm not green shirt guy. I mean, although I have a green shirt on right now, but I'm not green shirt guy. I'm not like loaded to the point where like I can have front row seats in any event I want to be at. Like, this is dumb. Like, why are we pricing out everybody who like really likes us? It's like, it's cool. Macaulay Culkin's gonna buy a ticket. He was the star of Home Alone 1 and 2. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Who's in 10 years? Who's gonna buy tickets to your product?
yeah,
Because like, it ain't gonna be my son. He'll be 22, and they'll be like, "Hey, do you want to spend $4,000 to go to this?" And he's gonna be like, "That's what I make in 2 weeks." So no. Hopefully, that's what he makes in 2 weeks. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how inflation's gonna work by then, but still, like, right? Like, let's say that like it is, the cost of a ticket is your paycheck, because that's what it is now almost, right? It's half your paycheck. It's half my paycheck, a third of my paycheck to go. And now if it's like just a random money, but it's like I gotta pay for the mortgage and like the electricity and the lights and the internet and all this shit. Like, okay, like I can't spend a third of my 2 weeks check on a random Monday. And that's what it's going to be. So like for my, for let's say for the people who aren't as like fortunate as I am, like, well, do I buy a house or do I go watch wrestling today?
yeah.
Do I eat dinner? Do I buy groceries or to go watch? Like, this is where we are with this, right?
It's an
like,
insane proposition.
It's fucking nonsense. Like, my grandmother used to go to watch wrestling for like $5, like equivalent of today's money, like $5. It's fucking nonsense, is what it is. And all those guys died like millionaires. So,
well, I just hope that they get it fucking figured out, and it doesn't seem like it's going to change anytime soon. We'll just have to keep our eyes on it, man. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I don't expect to be at an event anytime soon.
I don't either, unless it's the letters on the marquee or AEW, and that's kind of where we're at.
Pretty much.
All right, Bob. Well, we've only got one piece of business left, and that is the internet world famous One Fall WrestleCast match of the week.
I love that that's still the song. So my match of the week actually is from AEW. It was from All Out, and it was Tony Storm, and where Chris Statlander wins the match. I think the Thekla Spider lady was there, and so was somebody else. But like, the whole build to this match, I've been watching intently, and I've said it week in, week out. And Tony Storm screwed herself. She really did. She outplayed herself. And now she puts this together. And the promos, good God, leading up to this match, and just the lead up, and her whole title run since winning the title back from Mariah May, which, again, those of you who are fans of the show will know that my fandom of that series of matches with her and Mariah May, first being partners, then being enemies, then like all of that was my favorite thing in wrestling, period, not just women's wrestling. And this leading up, I don't know that it was as good as that first little Tony Storm run where Mariah May won, and then Mariah May was the champion. And I thought she was very good, and I think she's been doing very good stuff in NXT. as well since moving over. I think that that's been going very well. But this really was sort of the crescendo, I think. And if all of this Tony Storm, timeless Tony Storm stuff ends here, I think that this is a story for the ages. I think that you can condense this. You can condense all of this down into a documentary or a special event of kind of like, hey, watch this. This is special. This was a special thing that happened in wrestling, and we're going to cherry pick and sort of just sort of place the promos and the matches all together, and you can watch this in succession. And you'll really like this. And WWE used to do this with feuds when the network still existed. And I watched Macho Man versus Ric Flair in sort of this way. And good Lord, this is, in my mind, a sort of similar excellence in wrestling storytelling as that was disjointed as well, just as this was. But if you mush this all together and sort of I don't even say pick the highlights, you just kind of have to put all the segments together. This really was a magnum opus, a crescendo to said magnum opus. And it was my match of the week. It was my feud of the last year and a half, 2 years. That wasn't really a feud. It was really just Tony Storm doing amazing things. Things that we should talk about in the same vein that we talk about, the Ric Flair versus Macho Man, Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair versus whomever. Because we'll say Flair versus Dusty Rhodes, things in that sense, that very old school, long term, but still very strong storytelling, where somebody is a very strong champion, who finally sort of relinquishes a title to somebody who's been a very strong performer as well, in her own regard, but who is elevated now just due to how strong the prior champion was. You can even look at Bloodline to Cody Rhodes kind of thing. Fantastic stuff. Great match. But just one of those things that really stuck out to me as kind of man, this is something that we don't see very often, and we're seeing the end of something. And I realized it's WWE going to ESPN, blah, 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 blah. There's all this other noise, but there's this one thing that's been really consistent and really good. And I think that I've been really consistent about saying how important this was to me and how good this was to wrestling. And it sort of came to an end over this past weekend. And it would be beneath me to disregard it. And I think that, this was, I hope that Chris Statlander's reign is good and moving forward. But to come to the point to where they are with this, and how much work and how much time and how much effort has been put into it, and how much care being sort of the prime example, how much care has gone into it. I really think that this is kind of one for the ages, and it came to a fruition this past weekend. So I think that it only behooves me to say that this was my match of the week, because it was just so good and so perfect, and it ended so well. And Tony, she bamboozled herself, which I think is so poetic for the whole story she's been telling. And one of the best things to have ever happened in wrestling. And I will take that to my grave. And I hope that they put a really big, long YouTube clip together that's maybe 2 hours long, and just fucking let me watch that sometimes and enjoy it, because this was a masterpiece, and it finally ended this past weekend. It was great.
All right, well, my match of the week was Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer for the vacant women's world championship. I thought that the in-ring action was just phenomenal. It was a little clunky in the middle, but they were able to kind of overcome it. I feel like this was a predictable finish, but it was the finish that we all expected and endured for. Congratulations to Stephanie Vicaire, and hopefully, her versus Tiffy time at Crown Jewel for the Women's Crown Jewel Championship ring is a phenomenal match, as I expect it to be. Yeah, that's my match of the week.
So I just want to point out with Crown Jewel coming up, and we're going to have time to talk about this. But I thought that, putting Stephanie Vicaire and Tiffy together is probably going to be magic, but we at least got a Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes big time promo on Monday. I thought Seth killed it.
I did too.
That to me was.
I also thought Cody did a great job with his rebuttal.
Yeah, I thought that whole segment was great, and it was very much two guys who clearly really liked each other, but were also really sad that like they loved each other so much that it was like they hurt each other's feelings real bad, and I felt that they really managed to pull that out of that. And I really am excited to see Crown Jewel now. I think that, and it's, and Crown Jewel is going to be on ESPN too. I really feel like Crown Jewel might sort of be the first, okay, sorry, we fucked up. We kind of had to rush a few things. Here's a real one for you guys, kind of a thing. And I hope they pick it up, and I hope they come back because I'm not rooting for anybody to fail. And I want WWE to be great, and I want AEW to be great. And right now, we may be on an upswing for both. So that's my hope. Upswing for both.
Yeah, I'm here for it, and I hope that's what we get. And to kind of just close things out, I really enjoyed Seth's one line, that he was like, hey, man, you believe that you are the guy. So either you think that I'm not that good, or you actually think you're better than me. I really, really enjoyed that. And you could definitely tell that there was a lot of real emotion that was out there because both of those guys do think that they are the bee's knees, so to speak. So really looking forward to that fourth match between those two guys at Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia in just a couple of weeks. So
Seth's almost got to win, right?
Yeah, I think Seth has definitely taken the
even if there's a little bit of shenanigans, he's got to win.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Like, there's maybe got to be a few run-ins, but he gets Cody looking, right? Like, Cody looks to go, oh no, and then he gets stomped, and he gets stomped again, and he gets stomped again, or something like that, right?
Yeah,
he's just got to get Cody to go, and then his promo on Monday has to be like, I caught you looking.
Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Should be a lot of fun. All right, well, if you're still here hanging out with us, man, we appreciate you. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Maybe even consider subscribing. We would greatly appreciate it. You can check us out wherever you consume your favorite podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. We are there. Tell your buddies. We're a good commute listen, if you're into pro wrestling. So, yeah. Hey, man, check us out over on Twitter and Instagram at @1_fall WC. That's ONE. And as always, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast. I really thought we were going to get a Derek run in.
I hope so, but